So getting started with your contour drawings, you're going to really look at the outline or the contour of your shape that you're drawing, and then the highlights and shadows inside as well, and just trying to keep a continuous line that's really smooth around the outside and then inside of the shape as well. So watching this video on the left, I'm drawing this picture here of the apple, and I'm just getting started looking at the right side here and slowly just looking at the shape and the outline. And I'm not just assuming that it's a smooth edge, but I'm looking for any kind of minor ridges or bumps as well to draw. So now I'm coming around to the left side and just bringing my Sharpie up, looking at that shape and how it angles back and then comes down towards the top of the apple. And then I'm looking at this outside that goes up to where the stem is. And then I'm going to draw the stem before I get to continuing and finishing that line so it doesn't overlap the stem. And then I'm connecting it. I'm looking at those little bumps there. Again, it's not completely smooth, so I'm just really focused on the apple and just really staring at the apple and the shape there. So now that I have the outline done, I'm going back in with the thin Sharpie now, so the thin side, and I'm looking for all the highlights. So the highlights are these spots that have little reflections or areas that are the lightest in the apple or whatever shape you're drawing. So I'm just outlining the shape of those. Again, I'm not assuming that they're completely circular or round, but I'm looking at the actual bumps and ridges and design of what's actually there. So again, I'm trying to just focus on looking at just the apple here, and just looking down at my page every once in a while, but still just really focused on what's actually on the picture of the apple. And then I'm going around this little highlight here, and next I'm going to look at the outside, and there's these areas that are slightly lighter. It's kind of hard to see, but if you do squint your eyes, you can kind of pick out areas that really stand out to you, that really are lighter than the rest of your shape. So I'm looking at the right side of the apple here with the highlights. And I'm just continuing that line around, and then looking at the top of the apple here where there's this little bit of highlight on the outsides. So next, once I finish the highlights, I'm going to start looking for the shadows. So the areas of the apple that are the darkest. And I'm up in the left corner here of the apple, and I'm just outlining these darkest shapes. Again, try squinting your eyes if you can't see any, and that might help too. So I'm looking up in the upper right-hand corner, outlining the dark edge that's all the way on the right, so you can see how that edge is a lot darker. And again, I'm not just completely assuming that it's a smooth edge, but I'm looking at all the little bumps and ridges to outline as well with it. And then this dark shadow continues up and comes around. And I'm just double checking to see if I missed anything. There is a little bit of a dark edge or a dark shadow as well on the edge of the apple there. So I will outline that. And then I'm going to be finished with my contour drawing. So just double check again that there's nowhere that has any highlights or shadows that you missed. So these are important to pick out so that when you're finished, you're going to have form and more dimension, especially later on when we go and start coloring these in with shadows or darker areas on your drawing and painting them. They'll really start to come to life. So take your time, pick out all the highlights and shadows, and just really focus on what's actually there as you're drawing them.